Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. I hope you had a wonderful week. My week was a little strained. I lost a best friend. His name is Mihai Abraham. I've dedicated the last number of videos to him. It should be a merit for him to have a complete recovery. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Hashem had other plans, and he took his soul from us, and I'd like this week's video to be a benefit for his soul. Le'ilu nishmasai Yisrael Amichai ben Yosef. I appreciate everyone reaching out. In this week's parsha, Parshas Pinchas, the Torah tells us the census of the Jewish people after a terrible plague had struck, and we come out to the number 601,000 and change. And I want to talk to you about a subject that has kind of become taboo in Western society, and that is the great mitzvah of having children. And it's probably one of the greatest favors you can ever do for yourself. Now, if we take a look even simply at the tribe of Reuven, Reuven was one of the 12 sons of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, and Reuven, the one person, he ended up having, at the time of the census, 43,000 people in his family. Now, that sounds like an incredible number, but if you think about it just from a mathematical perspective, it's not so crazy if you count just 6 generations. If he was one, you have 10 times, if he was one, and he had, let's say, had 10 children, it wasn't like that, but let's just do average. So it'd be 1 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is 100,000. He had 43,000, so he didn't have 10 children, he had 4, but a lot of his kids had a lot of children. It came out the tribe of Shimon had 22,000, but the tribe of Yehuda had 76,000. Now, what we're learning over here, though, is like what Maimonides shares with us, the Talmud shares with us, that anybody that has one child is as if he created an entire world. And the Torah is trying to tell us the importance of having that one world. If you have 2 children, you have 2 worlds. If you have 43,000 descendants, you have 43,000 worlds. And the benefit that each person has for having children is that each child, as we've explained before, eventually there's an incredible ripple effect back to the forefather all the way up to the top. And there's incredible merit back to the person that actually had all these children. And we have to realize that the value of having children, so I'll share with you a quick story. Somebody was one time in the hospital. I went to visit them. She was sitting with her mother, and her mother finally summed up the courage to ask me why the Orthodox have so many children. And I said to her, look at your daughter. She's sitting right here in the hospital. I said, how much money would you pay to get her out of here pain-free? She goes, I'd pay anything. I said, what do you mean? You would pay $10 million to get your daughter out of the hospital pain-free? She said, yeah, if I had the money, I would pay it. I said, $100 million you would pay to get rid of her? To get her out of the hospital? She said, yeah, of course, if I can afford it. I said, what about $1 billion? Would you pay $1 billion? She goes, if I had $1 billion and it meant my daughter getting a hospital, she said, yeah, I would pay $1 billion. I said, so what you're saying then is that your daughter is worth to you at least $1 billion. If I gave you $1 billion cash, would you take that? She says, yeah. I said, if I gave you $10 billion cash, would you take that? She says, yes. So I said, so why limit yourself to only $1 billion right here if you can have so many? Meaning her question is really a silly question to begin with. And everybody realizes it, unfortunately, a little too late, but the greatest happiness for somebody that's about to pass away is the fact that they left over children that will continue on and carry their name. And my friend Mihai Abraham, he left over 7 incredible children, 2 boys, 5 girls. I know most of the names. The boys are Yosef and Nisan. The girls are Yakira, Sarah, and some of the other names I'm forgetting it right now. But their lives will continue to be in dedication to their father's life. And he will only continue to reap the benefits in the world to come. And where his soul is certainly enjoying the benefits over there, he suffered terribly, but I'm sure he went straight to Gan Eden, and anything that his children will do in his memory, anybody will do in his memory, will certainly be of great benefit. And so therefore the greatest gift you can give to yourself is to try to have as many children as possible. Again, in American Western civilization, it's become taboo, but you don't realize it now. And so therefore, now that thankfully you heard this video, get married soon, and you'll have as many children as you possibly can, and do yourself the greatest favor. Thank you for listening. Have a great Shabbos.